His Daf Yom Yerushalmi Terumos Terumos articles for edition were in Daf Tzagim Alav, the first header, Rabbi Yossi Mativ Shalchitim B'chuli, about 5 lines down, and in the Vilna there's no header. It's on an alpha base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 lines in the bottom. Chitim Milamata, and but we're going to Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi Sorim absorb, and Chitim do not. So chitin, what if you have chitin lamaton, soim milamal? You have right on top of uh, the, the barrel you have wheat, and above the wheat you have barley. So kshem chitin shavos, the wheat is a barrier, just like the wheat does not absorb the fragrance or the substance of the wine. Kachin soim shavos, so too the barley does not absorb. Soim matu chitin lamalim, but vice versa, if you have barley on the bottom and wheat on the top, kshem soim shavos, just like the barley absorbs. So to the wheat absorbs because of direct contact between the wheat and the barley. So since the barley is absorbing, so therefore the wheat absorbs as well. Okay, now the next part of the Mishnah talked about we use caraway as fuel, caraway of truma, where it's in order to stoke an oven. Then the pas is permissible because Mishnah had said it's not the time of the caraway, it's the fragrance of caraway and shumas mutabano. So Agmara says, can you grill together 2 skewers, one of kosher meat and one of treif meat? Amar b'shem Rav Oser, because it says Rav it's Oser because Recha Milsa, and it's as if the taste is penetrating. Shmuel Amar b'shem Levi Mutter, because there's Recha's Lav Milsa, the fragrance doesn't count as the Isser itself. Masisa Plida laid the Rav. Mishnah seems to argue on Rav. It says, following Mishnah, it's Ein Tzvei Shnei Pesachim, B'tar Echad Mitnei Tarovis. You can't roast 2 pesachim together in the same oven because they got mixed up, and the wrong group would take the wrong Pesach. So because they got mixed up. But then if it's not an issue, getting mixed up, and the Pesach being eaten not by the proper subscribers, it wouldn't be an issue. So you see that psak is that Recha is clearly Lav Milsa. So it's interesting the halacha here. The halacha is in the Shulchan Aruch Yodesim Kuf Ches that Eintzim Basuk Shei and Basan Avela Osha Behema Tmei B'Tan Rechad Avli Shei Nogin Zebezev Ein Tzlon HaReiz Mutar. The evidence okay. It was because we pass on Recha Lamilsa, but Mikra Din with Chayshish for Recha, and probably it's Zeh as well. So if I recall correctly, so in any event, we're not supposed to do it. If you did it, the evidence okay. Okay, so if you have the made story, water which comes out of story. Story is something called in English savory, which is a grass which has a certain smell, which is not usually human food unless a human being thought to actually eat it. So Rav Omar Aser, Ushmu Omar Mutter. So this if you have made this, you may designate the Machal Adam, right? And it's very difficult to consider Machal Adam. Besides that, the truma of vegetables only rabbanan. So if you had this may tzitzrei of truma, Rav says it's also Shmuel Amar Mutter, and Shmuel made satrei, and Shmuel did a ma'isa, and he gave it to not wanting to eat this made satrei. Now it could be Shmuel's a chutzlaritz. I'm not sure if the Eretz Yisrael the same thing would apply, but at least in chutzlaritz. He permitted this. Don't know what the it says here in the Gemara itself. Eichel Shmuel. The Gemara itself says, not in the Vilna. Eichel Shmuel Rab made tzatre. He gave Rab to eat, which certainly would be in chutzlaritz. That was the case where obviously reneged on his shita. But they don't point out that it's talking about chutzlaritz. I don't know. I assume the same thing in Eretz Yisrael because it's actually in Machal Adam, but it doesn't really with Cherem. So I think the base chutzah should be an issue. Okay, then the next one says Hadin Tavia. This roast you talked about before, where now going to Rav, you're now to put two skewers together in the oven. Rav said Mishagale becharusa. You have to in order if you actually did roast in the vela in your oven, you have to kasher it in order to roast it again. But that it's enough to use charoyo shel dekel. Charoyo shel dekel, and then they don't make such a hot fire. But on the other hand, Reicha Milsa is not such a big issue. So therefore, even though Reicha Milsa is alright to kasher the oven, yes, maybe to what we call libun kal, right? That's just either make make it hot, so the Reicha gets eliminated, even though not be enough heat to eliminate mamoshes. Okay, halacha gimel. Tilson, fenugreek. Shlomo b'toch habor shel yain, which fell into a bor of wine. But truma uv'maiser sheni, and the fenugreek was truma or maiser sheni. Im yesh b'zerek tam, if this it has enough to give it, if the zera, the seed has enough to give it taste of a loba eitz, but not in the wood. There has to be, in other words, the zera gets kedushas truma or maiser sheni, not the wood. Even though people do use the wood as a spice, it doesn't matter. It's not considered to be the ikar food, and therefore, in order to ask the wine, it has to be that the zera has enough to give time, not including the wood. Which is clear karen behekdesh, but that's only by truma and meiser. By kishvis karen behekdesh im yesh bazera uva eitz klilitin tam, if the zera and the wood together had enough to give the time, then the halacha is that that shvius and klayim and hekdesh also apply to the wood, and therefore it would be a problem. And even if they wood is put, you need to come onto the wood in order to give the taste. The Mishnah goes on to say in the next part of the Mishnah, which is now is Mishnah Hay, and this is I guess Mishnah Vav. Mishnah Chavil say this, and somebody had bundles of fenugreek. We kill a karen. If the gru is kill a karen, midoku. You have to burn the entire the bundle, including the wood, because the karen is also by na, and the wood itself becomes also killing a karen as well. If you have bundles of tilsa and fenugreek of tevel, and not meiser, so you then you can pound it up, even the wood and the zera together, and then you reckon the proportion of the zera. Mavish as a zera, and you separate this truma corresponding to the seeds. It's not the wood. The wood's not chaim truma semaisis. Him the rabbanon and him gomber beimom. Imi frisch. If he set aside truma semaisis while the seed and the wood are together. You shouldn't say, well, now I'm going to chop it up and give the Kohen just the zera, not the eitz. No. And since you curry shame on the truma, when it was still together with the wood, no say eitz and zera, give the eitz with the zera to the Kohen. Okay, says the Gemara, as the eitz come into account at all, the eitz pogame, doesn't the wood give an off taste in the fenugreek? And then it says here in the Gemara itself a choser upogim. So the choser upogim really doesn't really seem to make any sense because what does it mean choser upogim? So the Farshim going to really evidently, and the Gra and the Kaminaki just take out the choser upogim. So the Gemara answers the question. Masisa commander Amar Mitzvah, the opinion holds no same time pagam also. Says time pagam, but still also. Feel man is time for mutter, and even going to be most time for is mutter. So wood should be more. Modu hakashu also. Not here it's also. Lama. Because in fact, the wood is also gives a time of shvach. Because tilson, the taste of the wood and the taste of the seed is the same, and it's not like other trees. So the hamina was doesn't give those a time of gam. No, it's not as a time of gam. Okay. Now, the next one we should talk about bundles of tilsa. Kami chavila. What's a bundle? It's considered to be Dovishim and Minyan. It's not Bata Koremer who Dovishim Minyan is Lobata. Asim Chamisha Zin, 25 stalks. This appears, I think, several times in Shas. Anyway, Rabbi Yechon says, Va'arba minhon mita. He says that these four of these bundles have to be large enough that four of them would be enough to make a bed to lie on. Not sure exactly how the kind of shir that is, but I guess they used to make beds out of the Chavila Tilson. I assume it's some sort of temporary bed, not a permanent bed, but that's what it seems to be saying here. Where's the Moshe says? Say. La Rucha Samita. He says, sounds like of the 25 stalks, four of them have to be strong enough to be made a bed frame from. Now you need four bundles like that. The Maraf Fulda brings down to Dirham Shai, says, if they're strong enough to make bed frames to them, four makes a bundle. Okay, so maybe the Mshatim here. Okay. If he had bundles of fenugreek of tevel, that was the case in the Mishnah. Milsa Amrad, they teach us, need bolos. Even while they're in bundles, before he separated the seed from the wood, they're making it to be tevel, and you're not allowed to snack for them. Matav shibolim. So let's see that's the case, even by grain. That once you bundle it up, you make a sheaf of it. It should be considered to be chayav and shulas and saying there shouldn't be allowed to snack from it. No, it says you don't bring in stalks in bundles of the house. You bring in bundles of fenugreek. It's a spice, but you don't bring in bundles of sheaves of grain to the house. First you grind them, etc. So therefore, that's not a kamar malacha, and therefore it's not chayav and shulas meises. So sometimes you do bring in stalks of grain. And the Kabbalah says when you want to toast the grain, not grind up to make flour from it. That happens sometimes, but it's not a primary reason why you grow them, so therefore it doesn't count. Whereas fenugreek, that's what you do. You grow for that purpose, and you bring in for that purpose, and therefore it's already considered to be tevel from the point you put it into the bundles. Okay, that brings us mamish to the bottom of Tzadik Gimel base. Tzadik Gimel, Tzadik Dalet, the top is a new thing, so we'll stop here.